A dog is not a thing. A thing is replaceable. A dog is not. A thing is disposable. A dog is not. A thing doesn't have a heart. A dog's heart is bigger than anything you could ever own. This was stated by Elizabeth Parker, the author of Paw Prints in the Sand. Before I begin speaking, I would like to thank Louie's Legacy tonight for holding this benefit dinner for all the animals that have been rescued and for asking me to speak on Daisy's behalf. For those of you who do not know, Daisy was adopted about 6 months ago. She is a Jack Russell Rat Terrier mix who is about 2 to 3 years old. I had gone through a lot this past year, and I just wanted to adopt a dog or find a friend or companion who would support me and not judge me and just kind of be there for me. So a few months before I wound up adopting Daisy in March of 2013, I was diagnosed with depression. While receiving the care and treatment that I needed for my depression, I was given pet therapy twice a week. Now, when I received this pet therapy, all of the doctors and therapists who watched the interactions with the dogs and the other animals noted and talked to me about getting a dog, that it would be positive for me when I go back into the outside world. And now that idea was not far-fetched for me. My brother has rescued 2 dogs and my sister has adopted 1 dog. So the idea of getting a dog was not too far-fetched for my family. It was just, where am I going to put the dog and how can I afford this dog? Originally, I was in search for a French Bulldog or an English Bulldog. I don't know why. Those breeds have always just been one of my favorites. Maybe it was because of the smushed face and a short nose. I honestly don't know, but there's just something that drew me to them. And while I was in search for either of these types of dogs, my results came up very slim to none, for rescuing at least. Now, when you think of buying a French Bulldog or buying an English Bulldog, your costs can go anywhere from $500 to $20,000. And that just wasn't what I was looking for. So I went online, I did some research, and found a French Bulldog named Pudge. He was a French Bulldog and Boston Terrier mix. And he was supposed to be at an adoption site in Staten Island, New York, from Louie's Legacy. So I took this step and I emailed Louie's Legacy asking about him. They did tell me that he would not be at the site, but there was something inside me telling me, you know what, just go to this adoption site at PetSmart. Just go, maybe something will surprise you. So when I arrived, I just planned on looking around. I didn't plan on finding the dog of my dreams. But then I met this dog named Neptune. She was gorgeous. She was part pit bull, part hound, and she just didn't want any part of me. She just wanted to get out of the crate she was in. She wanted to go be by the volunteer who was her handler for the day. So I decided, okay, maybe this isn't the dog that I meant to have. And then there was a dachshund puppy. She couldn't have been more than maybe 2 to 5 months old, but she wanted no part of anyone at this adoption event. She did not want to look at any families, give any attention to anyone, aside from her foster mother and volunteer for Louie's Legacy. And then there was this little spotted, chubby body with a very small head, and she was Daisy. Now, when I first saw her, I just looked at her and I said, ew, that dog. And then she just charged right at me with the tail wagging, full speed, jumping, trying to get me. And I was not sold. I said, you know what, this dog's kind of cute, but it's like she knew that she wanted me to be her owner. So when we approached each other, she started going crazy. If I put my arms out, she literally would have jumped into my arms and let me carry her away. But I was not sold. I was like, no, I want my French Bulldog, I want my English Bulldog. But when other families and couples did approach her, she turned away. She walked around me, licked me, would not leave my side. Even she left the handler, the volunteer who was in charge of the adoption event that day. And when Kristen, one of the volunteers who knew Daisy very well, asked me if I wanted to walk her and take her around the parking lot, it was like at that one moment, I knew that that was my dog. I knew that Daisy would never look back. So needless to say, I filled out an application on site, and I anxiously awaited the phone call. I had to go back to school, and I sat by my phone when I went and met my professors, praying that they wouldn't call me while I was in a meeting or making up an exam. But I was fortunate enough to adopt her and was able to begin my life with Daisy, but that was just the beginning. No one knew what was to come next. So Daisy had a fear, actually a lot of fears, and a lot of anxieties. She was abandoned, and she was tied up outside of Petco, so no one really knows her true history. And Daisy is very far from the perfect dog, but she's my dog. She's perfect for me. We may both have had our good times and bad times, and she may always have these fears and anxieties, but now she knows that she'll have me there to reassure her that I will never abandon her like she was abandoned, and now I have someone who will just support me and be there for me when I'm having a bad day or I'm just sad or angry or stressed. She'll just sit there on the couch with me and let me pet her and just make my day better just by being that little face that she has. So Louis' legacy has not only helped my Daisy, but numerous other animals find their forever homes. Louis' Legacy is an amazing nonprofit organization, and the individuals who are a part of it are some of the best people in the world. They not only find forever homes for different animals, including dogs and cats, but they also give foster homes to animals in high kill shelters. And these volunteers are not just volunteers who just work for Louis' Legacy. They, in turn, actually take the foster animals into their own homes each year. So I thank you, Louis' Legacy, for being the underdog cartoon character in all this. A superhero who helps animals find a loving home and who has made it possible for Daisy and I to share the rest of our days together. I want to thank you once again for asking me to share our story at this summer dinner event. Daisy's home is forever, and it wouldn't have been possible without the great volunteers at this agency. Thank you.